What's going on, everybody? Chris Ballard here, Ballard Sports Media, coming at you live here on a Wednesday night. Just gonna do a quick stream. Let's just hang out, talk some sports, talk about whatever you guys want to. Um, it's 10 o'clock. I mean, I know it's not screw it. It's not late for a stream. Who am I kidding? But uh, um, I don't know. I was kind of just hanging out, got kind of bored, and I'm like, you know what? Why not do a live stream? So figured I'd just maybe hang out, talk with you guys. Got some news. Trevor Lawrence declares for the draft. Um, a surprise here to absolutely nobody. I mean, look, he has to be taken number one overall. The Jaguars have no choice but to draft Trevor Lawrence. Look, you can sit there and say, well, if they wanted to, they could take Fields or they could take a running back and be stupid with it. Look, you should just go ahead and like lock every other player on the board and just say this is your only option. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up, Gator Hater? How you been, brother? Haven't seen you in a while, man. Long while. How you been? Turn your camera on. Professional. Now we're just kind of hanging out here. Just talking some sports tonight, man. I'm just kind of sitting back a little bit. Kind of a long day. Kind of tired. But yeah. Yeah, how about Devontae Smith winning the Heisman Trophy last night? Third player at Alabama to win it, and you know he deserved it, man. I think it came down to him or Mac Jones. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence and Cal. Here's the thing about those two guys: Trevor missed games because of COVID, right? He still looked good when he played, but he did miss a couple games. And he did lose that game to Ohio State. These are facts. The case, Kyle Trask, best thing you could say about him now, he looked great, but what about the losses? Now, I don't think you put that blame on Kyle Trask. I think maybe you put it on Todd Grantham and the Florida defense. Can't just get it together this year. Oh, too many losses for Florida. There's the case for why Kyle Trask doesn't get the award. And I'm not trying to throw any of these guys under the bus. Mac Jones, I don't. I guess it came down to him and Devontae Smith for Alabama. And when you think about it, who is Mac's go-to guy been? Who has he thrown it to? I mean, he's thrown it to. I mean, obviously Waddle, who was early on in the season. This just in: Boston Celtics 107, Miami 105. But who was Mac Jones thrown to? Mechie, Waddle when he was playing. He's got Slade Bolden. He's got quite a few weapons. But who is his main go-to guy? Who leads Alabama in receptions and touchdowns and yards? And this season, who leads? I mean, seriously, man. Hold on, Celine. I see you in there, man. I'll give you a wrench. Is Grantham fired yet, sir? There you go. I gave you a wrench. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the StreamYard link. But I mean, seriously, like Devontae Smith earned this, man. This is like first off his fourth and final year as a senior. Or not as a senior, but he is a senior. All 4 years, all kind of worked into one moment for um you know this moment of being a Heisman Trophy winner. So I mean, he earned it. But anyway, so I mean, anyway, y'all want to join? There's the StreamYard link. It's up to y'all. But shout out to Devontae. You earned it, and yeah. Please do me a favor, hit that like and hit the subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. That's how you can support the channel. If you're new, please subscribe for more sports content. We talk college football, little bit of NFL, basketball, baseball. When we're gonna start getting into some baseball here pretty soon as we get closer to spring training and everything in the next couple months or so. Looking forward to that. Maybe my Rays could make a return. Maybe they could get back to the World Series and actually win it this time around. So hopefully, just hopefully, they can get their stuff together. They can get into October this year and actually hold the trophy up. Because, man, it was disappointing. Look, I was still proud of the team last year because they made it even further than they did the previous year, where they only made like the first round of the playoffs. And they took it by storm last year in a pandemic year. And they do 90 games or whatever the heck, 60 games. Lost to the Dodgers, man, which isn't that bad, but I mean, come on. Got to get better. Got to get better.
What
What's
up?
What's up?
Get off my lawn, Sling Driver.
You get off his lawn, apparently.
Are you sick?
Me?
Yeah, dude, your nose sounds stuffed. You sound stuffed up.
It's probably the Rona. Probably that Rona.
Don't say that, sir.
No, I'm doing fine, man. I feel fine.
I think that Sling Driver hates every major league anything.
What did baseball do to Celine? Baseball's that's America's pastime right there, man. Oh my god. How about you get off my lawn, Bet? How about this here? What is this now?
Oh,
Hey,
how do we time him out?
is Grantham going to be the next Florida coach though?
No.
What's up?
No.
He said no.
No. Grantham
Okay,
is not the next head coach. Grantham is the next unemployed coach.
Chess and I were hoping for that, right?
I don't really give a shit either way.
Doesn't matter. I already made a video congratulating Georgia on their upcoming division championship in 2021. You heard it here first.
Confirmed? Is that already confirmed? I mean,
I think it's confirmed. I mean, as long as Grantham is on the sideline and JT Jesus shows back up, that's a foregone conclusion for me.
The fake
as for what the major sports leagues did to me to piss me off, and do I like any pro leagues? I love the NHL. You know,
yeah,
they're not a bunch of kneeling, whining, bitchy millionaires who hate their country.
Yeah.
Whereas all three of the other leagues during this past season proved they hate, the country. Especially the NBA.
I won't.
They're wholly owned by China.
I don't normally get into politics on here, but I follow on Facebook this thing called College Football Trash Talk Nation, and I'm sure you've seen the whole Trump thing today or whatever the heck. But it said President Trump is currently up by 12 points against the Electoral College, and it said, "Hold that line, Patriots."
I'm not watching. I'm not watching this shit today. It's a shit show.
Yeah.
It was a shit show all day. Turns out there's very good photographic evidence. It was
I just saw
Antifa
I
whole
didn't
time.
watch it. I didn't watch it, but I mean, you can't avoid all this news on like Facebook or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm choosing. I know what the story is. So
Yeah.
Chess Hall's going to take a shower. That's what he said. It's in the comments. That's what he said.
Yeah.
There's a picture I don't need.
Just
But yeah,
picture this
congratulations
right
to the Slim Reaper. I mean,
here.
he
Yeah.
earned it. He earned it.
Oh yeah.
And as far as Trask goes, I don't think he deserved fourth. I think he deserves second. He had a better season than Jones or Sunshine did overall. His defense lost it for him. I don't think Kyle did very much to kill his chances. The last game really didn't help, but then again, that was played after the voting was done anyway.
Yeah.
The LSU game certainly didn't help.
Do you think it's the fact?
I am definitely of the belief that Kyle Trask didn't lose the Heisman. It was taken from him by his inadequate team. Specifically,
basically the number of losses, right?
Well, no, remember, Tim Tebow won the Heisman on a 3-loss Florida team.
Yeah.
In 2007. So I don't think it was the losses, the number of losses per se. It was the way it was lost because his defense fell flat. And, they fell flat practically every game. And they forced this is the way I see the 2020 season, and other people can argue with me if they want, but I don't care. Florida's offense the entire season had to be literally perfect. They had to score something on every possession because the defense, with very few exceptions, couldn't stop the opposing team from either, it was either Florida got a 1-score lead and the other team came back and tied the game, which is what happened all through the A&M game and the LSU game, or Florida got behind and started to catch up, and the defense couldn't create a stop so that Florida could catch all the way up with a tie. Ergo, the Alabama game.
Yeah.
The Alabama game was a perfect example of that. Florida got behind a couple of scores early. They caught up. They got within a score. They needed the defense to make a stop so that they could get the ball back and score again and tie the game and turn the game into something different, and they couldn't do it. The defense never, through the entire season, could do their job, which is to stop the other team.
Right.
And consequently, Florida's offense had to be perfect all the time, and admittedly not much of a running game. And that forced Trask to do a lot of chucking the ball, be a gunslinger.
Right.
And he was really, really good at it, but he also made some really, really bad mistakes. And those really bad mistakes got magnified and in the end cost him the Heisman. This is the way I see it. I could be wrong, but I think the facts support my position.
Yeah. What do you see for this Ohio State-Bama matchup in the title game?
I was talking about this on my live stream, which is every noon on Wednesday, noon Eastern time, over at the City Driver channel. Come on by.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to try and do some evening streams now that the season's over.
Yeah.
We were talking
BBD
about
said
this.
You could.
Huh?
BBD said you could too, right?
No, I want to talk to BVD about that. But we were talking about this, and Pizza Woman will back me up because she was there. And here's what we were sort of, and I was talking about this with Slim Shady Kane, and this is what we were thinking. It's sort of a toss up for us non-Alabama, non-Sucknut fans.
Right.
If Alabama wins, well, of course, being SEC homers like we all are, it's good for the SEC. And all the Georgia fans who are just, nut hugging on Ohio State so that their former quarterback can, doesn't win a championship.
Right.
If Alabama wins, the Georgia fans are, they're conflicted. They're sad that their former quarterback didn't get to win the championship, but they're also relieved that the biggest mistake in the history of coaching, created by Kirby, not so smart, which was to pick Fromm over Fields, doesn't get magnified 10,000-fold by Fields hoisting that trophy over his head. So the Georgia fans feel good about that, but they feel bad about the fact that Alabama wins yet another championship, and they're 40 years and counting of, basically flogging in the woods here.
Yeah.
So that's one side. But here's the flip side. And this is the part that makes the Georgia fans' heads explode. Follow me. Ohio State wins the championship.
Uh-oh.
Bad for the SEC. They're happy that their former quarterback gets to win the championship, but then their heads explode because they think to themselves, for the next 5 years or more, Jesus Christ, if we had made the right decision in 2017 or 18 or whatever it was,
I think it was 18,
and kept
but yeah.
Fields, that could be us.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
And then their heads pop.
Regardless, I think they're in a position where, just regardless of what happens Monday night, like if Bama just shuts down Fields and their defense, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it might be a shootout, and you're going to see a lot of scoring in this game. But
yeah,
regardless of what Fields does on Monday night, Kirby's already stupid for even picking Fromm over Fields, regardless of what Fields has done at Ohio State or does Monday night.
Yes, I agree with you 100%, Mr. Ballard. I do agree with you there. However, think about how much more stupid he looks.
More stupid, yes.
Fields wins the game and hoists that title over his head. The collective Georgia fan base's heads will explode.
Right.
And that, as a Florida fan, is going to be funny.
Yeah, right.
To me, it'll be funny to me. So I don't know who to really favor in that game. I don't know.
The line hasn't moved. When I did the preview video and made it yesterday or whatever, and I had it premiere earlier today. The spread, according to ESPN, Bama's favored by 8. Now, this is going to be a good matchup. I think it's kind of a coin flip, but I really think because Bama has, first off, let's be real. Ohio State didn't play enough games. Now, were they a good team? Absolutely. But compare their competition to Alabama's competition. Who played better teams? And who dominated in better fashion, I think. You know what I'm saying? Like Bama, I think, is the better team. And I'm not going to say it's not even close or anything like that. But, I mean, just look at what Mac Jones and Smitty and everybody's done compared to maybe what Fields and, everyone else at Ohio State, all the other players have done. Not to throw them under the bus. They've looked great. But I'd give the edge clearly to Alabama.
Well, I think Alabama is certainly more battle-tested than Ohio State. But
Yeah,
Ohio State, when they have played, has looked very good.
absolutely.
Maybe a little shaky in the defense compared to Alabama, but Ohio State looks good and looks formidable enough. I mean, they took out a very good Clemson team, and they didn't look like they broke a sweat doing it.
They made him look pedestrian.
However, it does look like they broke a rib doing it.
Oh yeah, that took guts for Fields to even continue playing with that injury. Like that took guts, and he still looked great even in pain. What's up, Pizza
Yeah.
Woman?
Not much, Ballard. How about you?
I'm doing great.
What's up there, Miss Pizza?
Not much. So
By the way, why are we talking about bagel bites in the chat?
I'm not sure who said.
oh, that's the nickname for that the bet calls me.
Oh, but I love bagel bites. I can, they sell them in packs of 9. I could bury a pack of bagel bites easy, delicious. Just got to bake them long enough so that they're crunchy.
Yeah. Let the cheese melt and everything on top.
Yeah. Yeah. I love bagel bites. Yeah. I even like making my own pizza bagels sometimes. But you got to get it just right. I mean, the bagel can go from nice and crunchy and toasted to a charcoal briquette real quick. But I shouldn't be talking about food. Let's see. Anyway, I actually, and I'm sorry, Ballard. I really am sorry to say this, but I'm going to actually hope that Ohio State wins this one. Not because I'm a big Ohio State fan. I'm not.
Right.
Not because I'm a small 10 fan. I'm not. But just because it will really, really irk the Georgia fans.
Hey, man, I understand. That's fine.
I mean,
but at the same time, like, would you consider yourself a SEC homer, pulling for SEC teams so that way, like, SEC dominate?
To a degree, yes, yeah, to a degree,
okay.
I would say that. But this is one time I'm really, really conflicted. So I don't know. You know what? In the end, it's two teams that I'm not a fan of. I'm just hoping for a decent game and some entertainment for a few hours. Something that will, something I can look back on and think about, and because it's going to be a long 7.5 months to get to the 2021 season.
Oh yeah.
We're still in the middle of this Wuhan Red Death insanity.
Yeah.
And now we have the folks that scream toxic masculinity at the top of their lungs in charge of things. And God knows that, it wouldn't surprise me if they banned contact sports completely because it's too violent. You might hurt each other.
I'm sorry, but pain is a part of life, right? I mean,
you can't tell that to the snowflakes. So, but yeah, of course I'm being facetious, and we'll see what happens going in. I mean, quite honestly, I look at Florida, and I went over this in a video I made last week, I think it was, or early this week. And I went briefly over Florida's schedule for 2021. The best I think Florida can hope for at this point is 9-3. That's the best they can hope for. 8-4 may not be out of the realm of possibility, but there are 3 losses right away that I can see for Florida: Alabama, Georgia, LSU.
Yeah.
Those are 3 immediate losses. The 4th one might be Kentucky.
Okay.
Might be Tennessee. It depends on, I mean, I don't know what Emory Jones is going to do. Hell, there are people on the internet, not in the Florida fan groups, but just out in the general college football group, saying Emory Jones is an early favorite in the Heisman.
Right.
What? What? What?
You know what? I don't mean to worry Florida fans or piss you off even more about what could happen with them next season, but you know who's coming to the swamp next year, don't you?
No, I don't.
Bama.
Alabama.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right. Well, I mean, the swamp is not an easy place to play, so that could help us a little bit if we have a full
And
stadium.
it might be, if you're lucky, it's probably early in the season and you guys have momentum going into it, maybe. If you're lucky. Because I don't know when it's going to be played.
I don't know when it's going to be, Ballard. I don't really think it matters, but in Alabama's or in Florida's defense against teams like Alabama graduates out a lot of talent.
That's
obviously
fair.
Alabama doesn't rebuild, they reload, but a lot of the players they're reloading with don't have game experience.
I will say this, that you say they don't rebuild. 2014 was actually like pretty much the only rebuild year. I mean, Blake Sims I wasn't too high on. I mean, they still had like Amari Cooper, but they did lose quite a bit, and had to fix a few things. And they lost to Ole Miss in the regular season. They made the first playoff, and they got beat by Ohio State in the semifinal. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, they have since then, they haven't had to like really have a rebuild year. They just keep recruiting, and if they make the natty, they make it. If they don't, they don't, kind of thing,
And I said this earlier on my stream. 6 months ago, I couldn't imagine myself thinking this or saying it out loud, but there's chatter out there about Mullen being considered for an NFL position.
Yeah.
That wouldn't bother me very much.
Right.
It just really wouldn't bother me if he actually did that. Because the main reason I say that is because was it a new broom sweeps clean or whatever? Take out the whole coaching staff and start over.
Yeah.
That would bother me at this point. I don't know who we get. I mean, despite the issues that we have, Florida is still considered to be a prime time program.
Right.
I think we could attract good quality candidates. I just don't know who it would be, and it probably isn't going to happen. Probably it's going to be Mullen is back. I just wish Grantham wasn't there. I don't know why. He should have been fired at the end of the LSU game.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing some news here. You guys picked up a defensive tackle from the transfer portal today.
Yeah, Penn State guy.
Yeah, Antonio Shelton. I'll tell you what.
That doesn't hurt.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt us too bad. And, we did pick up a 5-star transfer through the portal from Miami as running back. I don't think he played.
Yeah.
So hopefully he plays next year. I wish we would build our running game back. We have a dual threat quarterback under center in the coming year. So hopefully that opens up the running game. Don't have to rely on chucking the ball so much because our receiver core is going to be pretty young. I don't know what our offense is going to look like next year. It isn't going to look like it looked this year. But this year we squandered a really, really good offense. I would say great offense. I would say Florida had a great offense, and it was squandered because Lardass doesn't know what he's doing.
Is that your nickname for Grantham?
Yeah, Lardass seems to be the least offensive of it. That's the least offensive of the names I want to call him.
Yeah.
I mean, I really shouldn't be running around calling him fuckface. So, you know.
Yeah, right. Bama, I mentioned, has Florida in the swamp next year, but that's not the big game that worries me. And I know Auburn has a new coach, but an Iron Bowl at Jordan Hare, as you've seen in recent years, is while an Iron Bowl at Jordan Hare, I mean, it's that hasn't been favorable in the Tide. So if they can win that one, which is always the most important game of the season,
hey, hang on a minute. Maddie puts up I think this is like the fourth time I've seen him put up this thing where he says Emory Jones is to John Plumlee
Rice.
what Kyle Trask is to Mac. I don't know who John Ray's Plumlee is, and I don't know who Matt Corral is.
Ole Miss quarterback.
Oh, and who's Matt Corral? I don't know who he is.
I think he's also like the coordinator. He's like the coordinator or something.
No, he's got to be a quarterback. Wait a minute, wasn't he on Mississippi State?
No, I don't know.
He's at Ole Miss.
Both those guys are Ole Miss.
And John Ray's Plumlee was at Ole Miss?
Yeah, that's the quarterback.
Okay, I don't know who either of them are. I don't know. I don't know what he's trying to say here. And Maddie, for Christ's sake, explain to me what you're trying to say here.
Celine doesn't understand, so you need to put emphasis on that, Maddie.
I don't know what he's trying to say here. I mean, Emory Jones is not as good as Kyle Trask. Yeah, I'll agree to that. I mean,
Matt Corral is so both of these guys are sophomore quarterbacks. Matt Corral is a sophomore quarterback for Ole Miss. Okay. John Rice Plumlee, a sophomore quarterback for Ole Miss. Now, I think Matt Corral has been the starter this year. And
I think he was the starter this year.
Plumlee's like basically the backup, or maybe it's the other way around, but either way, almost exclusively used in zone reads, QB sneaks, and read options. Matt Corral is their primary. Okay, so they use Corral as the primary passing guy.
You know, Matt, you could have said something like, you know,
they basically do what Georgia has done with the what did Lou call it?
They're basically doing what they basically did what Florida did in 2006 with Leak and Tebow.
Yeah,
Leak was the chucker, and Tebow was the tank, the ground and pound guy who occasionally would throw pass. So okay, I understand now. So okay, why did you just say that? I mean, come on. Well, Emory Jones doesn't have somebody in front of him anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he had Felipe LePew in front of him, and then he had Trask in front of him. Now it's his team. And he's going to have to do something with it, or else he's going to get run over by a redshirt freshman. What's his face? What was his name? It'll come to me.
For Florida?
So I don't know what Florida is going to do. They'll start Emory Jones and see, and Mullen loves dual threat quarterbacks. I mean, he had Tebow. He had.
You think he should go to the transfer portal and find one?
No. Why not go with what you got? You got Emory Jones has been in the system for, this will be year 3 been in the system. Let Jones play. I mean, Mullen has historically loved dual threat quarterbacks. He had Tebow at Florida. He had the two guys at Mississippi State. Prescott and the other one, whose name escapes me here. And he had success with them because that's the system he likes to run. He loves the dual threat system. Trask and Franks couldn't do it. They weren't. Well, Franks tried to do it, but he's too fragile. And Trask has feet of clay. So Jones is a dual threat quarterback. That's why he was recruited. So
Yeah.
let's see what Mullen does with a quarterback that he likes, and we'll go from there.
What do you think of the whole Sarkisian leaving Bama for Texas? Is Texas going to be back?
Nah,
Hey,
Texas.
I'll be pulling for Sarkisian. I love him, and I love what he's done with Bama the past couple years with the offense. So, I mean, I'm pulling for him, but I don't. It's going to take a lot for Texas. I mean,
Fitzgerald was the other one. Thank you, Maddie.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
the Bucks got him.
Texas is the small 12s equivalent of Tennessee.
Right.
You know, they're occasionally they'll stick their head up a little bit and they'll beat someone they're not supposed to, but they're good for mid-level at best, and they're not going to rise above that. Sarkisian's going to take at least 2 years to rebuild and bring in the players he wants to bring in. So I don't see Texas being of any kind of threat to Oklahoma. Oklahoma State's more of a threat to Oklahoma right now.
I think he needs a couple, probably more than a couple recruiting classes for him to really get this program underway and where it should be.
What frustrates the hell out of me is, and if Gator Hater is still here, he's not going to like this, but facts don't care about your feelings.
Right.
With respect, Gator Hater. Right now, Mullen should have Florida to himself. Miami is not. Miami is Miami. I mean, they're going to get theirs from South Florida. Florida State's in disarray. South Florida and Central Florida are no threats to grab the first line talent. University of Florida should have built a wall years ago across the border with Alabama and Georgia and locked the state down and grabbed their share of the pick of the litter. I mean, they've beaten Florida State badly the past few years. They beat Miami a couple of years ago. They're by far the best program in the state right now. It's an argument, but I think it's an arguable point that I can win. Mullen should have his pick of the litter. Whatever Mullen doesn't get can go to Florida State and Miami, and then the outside folks can have the pick of the scraps.
Yeah. That's
not happening right now, and it's frustrating as a Gator fan. I know that on Lou's show last night, my buddy, Simple AG3, I think is his name. He pointed that out beautifully. Mullen is not recruiting good enough, and it's making guys like me crazy. We try to defend Mullen. We really do. A lot of us like Mullen. A lot of us like compared to Moose Dump and the Shark Fucker, he's miles above them. But he's not doing the things that he needs to do to get Florida back to where they were when it was an Urban Meyer team or when it was a Spurrier team.
Yeah.
I mean, right now he's somewhere between Spurrier, Meyer, and Pell, Hall.
Yeah.
That level. I mean, he's way above Zook or Moose Dump or McElwain. I mean, he's miles above those guys. But he needs to start swimming a lot harder to get to the level that we want to be at, which was the Urban Meyer level, which was the Steve Spurrier level.
Yeah. Did you see this happened, I think, yesterday or maybe the day before, but news came out about this yesterday where Ohio State was saying they were having COVID problems. You've heard the news about them trying to move the championship game, right?
Yeah, I heard it.
Did you
I
hear
don't know,
about
where are they going to move it to?
I don't know, but did you see what Saban's daughter had to say about it?
I heard that she said something. I just didn't bother to read what she said.
She basically said if you're not confident to play, then say it. I call bull crap on the COVID cases. They're worried about their quarterback and want him to have more time to heal. If he's hurt, put in your backup. And then she went on about Waddle and it's like, you didn't see us postpone the rest of the season and wait for Jalen Waddle. And then she's like, bye. And I don't
No,
blame her for that.
she's got some good points there. I mean,
She's got some guts.
I mean, the first part of that sounds like conspiracy theory to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if Ohio State was worried about the health of Fields, I can understand it. I can understand them trying to figure out, a way to buy some more time. And COVID is a made to order excuse.
Yeah.
The problem is you have to show the results.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just say, we're 8 up with Dorona. We need a week. You have to, you have to show it. I mean, you have to prove it. So I think it was a really, really good troll. Really good troll on the kid's part, but I don't think there's any truth to it. I really don't. I mean, I think Fields is shown he's a competitor. He's a gamer, and I think he would play even if he was coughing up blood. I think he cares that much, So a good troll,
Right.
5 out of 5 for effort. But yeah, I'm not buying it. I think the game, unless they can prove that there's really corona problems at Ohio State, I think the game's going to go off on Monday with no problem.
Right. Yeah, I think it all depends on what happens between now and then, I think, as far as the game. And of course, the COVID situation. But I mean, seriously, like everyone's just gonna say, like, you don't want Bama or whatever, and Bama fans like myself might say that too. Be real, but I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with all this. It's stupid, I think.
Well,
I agree.
honestly, she agrees. Okay. I think, I think there's nobody wants Bama. Well, that's crap. I mean, Alabama is not made of immortals or robots.
Yeah.
They're 18 to 23-year-old young men that are certainly capable of making mistakes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, all Jones has to do is throw one pick six, and the game dynamic changes. Or somebody lights up the Slim Reaper, and he gets his bell rung, and he has to sit the rest of the game.
Right.
Now all of a sudden you go from a pass happy offense to a run offense. Not to say that Alabama is not a bad run team. They are a really good run team. But if you take one of their major weapons away, it changes the dynamic of the game. So we don't want, Alabama walking around saying, you don't want none of this. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Alabama can be beat.
Of course they can. And
Yeah,
I
they
was trying
can.
to say that. I was trying to say that like last week or whatever. And, because all I keep seeing, and I look, as a Bama fan, you love to hear this about your team, that they're the best, that they look really, really dominant, and they have been, right? If you want to sit there and say they're the best team in the nation, that's fine. But people have this narrative that they are unbeatable, and I'm like, look, there's no such thing as unbeatable. They said that about Tua and the offense in 2018, and look what Clemson did to them,
Well, I mean, you don't even have to go back to 2018. I mean, look at Alabama rolled into the SEC championship game. They were a 14 and a half point favorite. I thought Alabama was going to light them up and win by 21.
Yeah.
Alabama got stretched. Alabama got taken to the end of the game by half a Florida team.
Mm-hmm.
They're not unbeaten. They almost got beat by Florida, and I don't think anybody expected that. I don't think any Florida fan expected it to be a 6-point game in the end.
Right.
But there you go. I mean, Alabama. There are ways to get to Alabama.
Of course.
So it's possible. If Florida had been able to play even a little bit of defense, who knows? Who knows? You never know. But that's not the way it happened. They got, Alabama won the game, but they weren't unbeatable. So
for that Ole Miss game you guys played.
Oh yeah,
that's true. Ole Miss lit you guys up.
That broke the defense, and that was where it started to turn and things started to change. I think for Alabama's defense, be real. Has it been
they got
perfect?
a little
No,
better
but it broke it. I mean,
well, the Ole Miss game for Florida was our first game, unfortunately, and unfortunately, Florida's defense never got any better after the first game. They didn't improve. In fact, in some ways, they went backwards. Witness the LSU game, for example, or obviously the A&M game, or hell, even some of the games we won where, we let Tennessee score 19 points.
Yeah.
Their offense was in such disarray, they shouldn't have scored more than 7.
Right.
But we let them score 19. So Florida's defense never got any better over the season. Alabama's defense got better. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be that Alabama has an actual defensive coordinator who knows what the
it's
fuck
so
he's
funny.
doing?
Fire Pete going and get rid of him, or fire him, and now it's like they're not saying they want to keep Pete Golding, but it's changed. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. Alabama is not. It's not. What is the word?
I'm not sure.
They're not
Unbeatable.
They're not infallible.
Right.
They're not unbeatable. But Ohio State's going to have to play a hell of a game. They're capable of it. Certainly, they showed they're capable of it against Clemson, who is a really, really good team.
Yeah.
They had a lot of weapons, and Ohio State was able to play defense, which their defense was shaky for the whole year, but their defense showed up and they won. And they got to do it again in 4 days?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a really good game. I think it might be one of the best games we've seen in a while. At the national championship level, I mean, a lot of the natty games have been blowouts. I think this one could be close.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. Honestly, I want to give Bama's defense all the credit in the world, but I feel like Fields and that offense might be a bit too much, and I think it's going to be a shootout in like the 40s or 50s if we're lucky. I think it's going to be down to the wire and just high scoring. Like think back to that Georgia-Oklahoma Rose Bowl game. It might be something like that.
It may be whoever has the ball last.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
And Fields better wear a flak jacket. Because them big boys up front going to go after them ribs.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But Fields showed me something against the Clemson game. He was he's obviously in a lot of pain. And he just kept throwing. And you pick up a football and you run through a throwing motion, and those ribs get stretched, both sides.
Yeah.
So your ribs are hurting and you throw a football, you're going to feel it. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We will see.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wish it was Florida in there instead of Alabama, but you know, didn't
Y'all
happen.
will
that
have
way.
your time at some point. It might not be Dan Mullen, but Florida's going to win a championship in the future at some point. We'll see.
Well, first thing they're going to have to do is consistently get past Georgia.
Right.
I mean, finally beat Georgia in a year that we basically wasted the team. But we did beat Georgia.
That's what y'all wanted. I mean, you've been right there to do it the past maybe 1 or 2 years, and it finally happened this year. And I mean, you won your division, so I mean, y'all gotta celebrate that, don't you?
I guess, but it feels like a hollow victory.
Yeah,
When you lose to a team like LSU, who
that was down
honestly,
the way they were.
yeah, they had no right to be competitive with us in that game. They had no right to be right with us the entire game. It should never have come down to a 34-34 tie and a big stop for once by our defense, and then a kid acting like an idiot and giving them another chance to kick the field goal that eventually won the game. So it should never have come down to that. It should never have been allowed to come down to that. And yet it was. And that's why I say that Lardass should have been fired that day.
Yeah.
I mean, he proved A, he can't coach, and B, he can't lead. He can't discipline his squad to act like they've been there before and act like, you know, men instead of 5-year-olds.
Right.
I mean, if what's his face had kept his cool and acted like he had been there before and didn't do what he did, Florida probably won that game.
Oh, for sure.
And
Marco
the
Wilson?
Heisman would still be there, and the momentum would still be there going into the SEC championship game. You know, instead, Florida's a laughing stock for an entire week. They deflated by losing to a team that they were favored to win by 10 points. I think it was 10. And they roll into the SEC championship game, you know, whipped puppies. And still put up a hell of a fight, but
right.
Should never have come down to that. It really shouldn't have. And Lardass should have been on the first train, plane, car, bus, truck, you know, donkey out of town.
Right.
Hell, I would have paid for the moving van. I still pay for the movie. If anyone from the University of Florida administration is listening right now, and we know you should be, send me the bill.
Yeah.
Fire Grantham. Fire Grantham.
You would
hire a moving company.
Grantham.
Pack him up. Ship him out. I'll pay you back for the expenses. I will write you the check. Who are we going to get instead of Grantham? I don't give a shit. Anyone? Okay. Anybody except Moose Dump.
Right.
Not him. No. Well, never him. Jump. Yeah, I have said, and I will say again, you can make a stinger out of this if you want to. Mark me. If Will Muschamp is hired by the University of Florida in any capacity to do with football, I am a University of Central Florida fan the next day.
Wow.
And I will remain a Central Florida fan until he's fired again. Mark me. Any capacity. I don't care if he's hired by the Florida Gators staff to be the head cook and bottle washer. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Wow.
I am a Central Florida fan the next day. That's how much I hate him.
That's insane, man. But I get it. I understand. But
I've said it multiple times. Made videos where I've said it on my own channel.
yeah, I've heard you say all that.
I've said it on Lou's channel. I've said it on BVD's channel. I've said it on Chess's channel. Now I've said it on your channel.
Yeah. We'll quote you on it.
Please
Yeah.
do. Please do. At least I didn't say South Florida
Right?
or Miami. So if I became a Miami fan, you better lock me up because I've definitely gone over the edge.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I gotta go watch that Amped Up for tonight.
All right. Catch you
Oh
later.
yeah. I've seen alerts cross my screen that Amped Up is starting.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm not saying I'm gonna go check it out, but I am kind of tired, so I think I'm gonna end the stream.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
Because I'm
We'll
an
catch you
old
later,
man.
and
I'm an old man. Gotta go to bed.
yeah, real quick, Celine. Hope you guys
Yeah.
get a defensive coordinator. Actually, at this point, aren't you? Anyone's better than Grantham.
Almost anyone.
Yeah, that right there, people. That right there.
That's right. That's
All
going
right.
to be my mantra until it happens.
You should change your channel name to that real quick. I mean, just for a small
No,
period.
I've spent a long time building my brand.
Yeah.
I built the Celine Driver brand to mean something, so I'm going to stick with that.
All right.
Of course, what happens if I sell the car? Then
I don't know.
bet I have to think about it, don't
Yeah.
I? Anyway,
All right.
thanks for having me on there, big guy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anytime, man.
No problem. I'm going to drop off.
All right, then. Holler at you guys later. Bye-bye.
See you, Pizza Woman. See you, Celine. Thanks for coming on.
See ya.
See you later.
Appreciate you. All right. Appreciate you guys coming on tonight. Really appreciate it. I love all you guys. I'm going to go ahead and end this show tonight. Stream, whatever. Just wanted to talk with you guys, talk some sports, and yeah, just hang out for an hour or so. And hope everyone's having a good start to the new year. Again, congrats to Devontae Smith for winning that Heisman Trophy. Celine and all the Gator fans out there, hope you guys get a better defense next year, maybe. And good luck to Ohio State in the Natty this coming Monday. Because trust me, they're going to need it against Alabama. I'm telling you that. Bama's going to need a little bit of luck too, I'm sure. I think it's going to be a good game, a shootout down to the wire, and it should be a really awesome, clean football matchup. So anyway, love all you guys. I'm going to head out, and you know how it is. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for more sports content to Ballard Sports Media. And until next time, Ballard Sports Media, checking out. Y'all have a good night. Love all you guys. Roll Tide, roll. We'll see you later.